It's just not recorded on StreamYard.
Okay, here we go. We're live now.
Right,
Hello, America. Saturday Night Live. We're
right.
back. So that's two crazy Moors. Okay, well, time for the mantra. You don't need to see me. Okay, this is the primordial trust. Through the power, force, might, and will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of almighty flow, the great nothingness of infinite beingness, of infinite, endless, limitless, invisible light from which comes the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized into realization, actualization, and form as we all now will and commanded to be. Now, being and becoming an active force of higher consciousness and an active force of infinite intelligence within us all now. Being and becoming the great primordial dragon god son, Kundalini flames, now whirling and ascending up our spines from our root chakra to our central heart chakra, all the way up to our royal crown chakra, igniting our first eye. Our Lord Amunel Drakra, our priestly grandmaster Magi Dragon God Son King and Queen, igniting all of the 72 chakras in our first eye, our 72 primordial dragon god son kings and queens, and all of our legions of 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 armies 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 of armies. Now, being and becoming, now willing all of the powers, forces, elements, essences, dark matter, dark energy, and ethers ruling the entire omniverse, earth, and physical and spiritual matrix and heavenlies within the absolute all into being and becoming all of our will servants, serving all of our wills, objectives, intentions, and desires, crystallizing them all into realization, actualization, and form as we all now will and commanded to be. Now, being and becoming our own Grandmaster, Mother, Dragon, God, Son, Light, being Merkaba, being and becoming our own Grandmaster, Mother, Dragon, God, Son, Light, being Mind, Ship, Merkaba, now opening up a supermassive black hole, folding out of this time-space continuum, returning back to our original primordial beginning, returning back to our original primordial station and original primordial DNA blueprint before creation, using our primordial energy to create. Oh shit. Now being and becoming our own Grandmaster, Mother, Dragon, God, Son, Light, Being, Mind, Ship, Merkaba, now opening up a supermassive black hole, folding out of this time-space continuum, returning back to our original primordial beginning, returning back to our original primordial station and original primordial DNA blueprint before creation and humanity, and before the fall of our primordial soul, renewing our dark matter, dark energy soul, reabsorbing our original primordial essences, reigniting the divine spark back to its original primordial charge, recharging our infinite soul back with the great Mother Dragon Goddess Queen, being and becoming something brand new that's never been, being and becoming one with the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized into realization, actualization, and form as we are now willing commanded to be. Now, bring it all out war, judgment, death, and destruction upon the multi-universe created by the lower multi-dimensional, archonic, demiurge, angelic, and demonic energies that slayed our primordial souls before creation. Using our primordial energy to create this light and energy extraction creation matrix, imprisoning our souls, keeping us ignorant of our true higher selves, so it can feed off of our light through this wicked worldly system until now. because now's the time of their fall as all out war judgment, as our new higher primordial dark matter, dark energy self return back to creation from our primordial beginning, traveling through a supermassive black hole in our Grandmaster Mother Dragon God Son Light Beam Mindship Merkaba. Now, ripping through and tearing holes into this space-time continuum, circling all of the corners of the earth, awakening all of the holy, divine, infinite, magical sparks at once. Now, all shedding their physical cocoons, being and becoming beings of dark matter, dark energy, emitting a new primordial light, ascending up into the Grandmaster Mother Dragon God Son Light Beam Mindship Merkaba, along with the infinite soul of Mother Earth, leaving an empty shell behind, being and as we open up a supermassive black hole, folding out of this created matrix as it is completely destroyed, as we're all now reunited back with the infinite all as one, now free to begin experiencing true divine love, being and becoming a new primordial universe where the earth is renewed into something beyond any description, as our souls are now free to become our own worlds as kings and queens, exploring a new, never explored universe and multiverse in peace, love, harmony, balance, until this day of Brahma becomes the next night of Brahma. Through the power, force, might, and will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of almighty flow, the great nothingness of infinite beingness, of infinite, endless, limitless, invisible light, from which comes the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized into realization, actualization, and form as we all now will and commanded to be. Abracadabra, Ashe. Crown chakra day libations. Ain, the nothingness, Ashe. Ain soft, the infinite, Ashe. Ain soft or, the infinite light, Ashe. Adam Capman, Atik Yaman, the ancient of ancient, the most ancient of days. Arik Yampin, the big face, the primordial Christ. Ashe. Atzlith, emanations, the supernal holy universe manifesting as our holy divine infinite magical names, the cosmic Christ. Ashe. The great abyss of gnosis, Ashe. What the great abyss of gnosis manifesting in us as our crown is rampant, the small face, the indwelling Christ, Ashe. Berea, form, creation, and paradise, manifesting in us as our holy, divine, infinite, magical, dark archangels and demons, Ashe. Yetzirah, formation, manifesting in us as our holy, divine, infinite, magical orders of dark angels and demons, Ashe. Ashia, the actual physical world in the making, the universe of action, manifesting in us as our holy, divine, infinite, magical, earthly kingdom, Ashe. Yeshida, the holy, divine, infinite, magical spark, manifesting in us as our holy, divine, infinite, magical will, Ashe. Ea, our holy, divine, infinite, magical life force, manifesting in us as our holy, divine, infinite, magical desire, Ashe. Neshama, our holy, divine, infinite, magical heavenly soul, manifesting in us as our holy, divine, infinite, magical heavenly thoughts, Ashe. Ruach, our holy, divine, infinite, magical soul, manifesting in us as our holy, divine, infinite, magical words spoken through us, Ashe. Nephish, our holy, divine, infinite, magical, earthly soul, manifesting into realization, actualization, and form as we all now will and commanded to be. Abracadabra, Ashe. Kether, the supernal crown, Ashe. Hakma, wisdom, the supernal father, Ashe. Bana, understanding and intelligence, the supernal mother, Ashe. Dath, the great abyss of gnosis, Ashe. Hased, mercy, Ashe. Kavura, judgment, Ashe. Tifrit, beauty, Ashe. Netzik, victory, Ashe. Had, glory, Ashe. Yasad, foundation, Ashe. Malkut, the kingdom, Ashe. The power, force, might, will of the great nothingness of the almighty powers of the great nothingness of almighty flow. The primordial cosmic flower constantly blooming the absolute all into being. Abracadabra, Ashe.
Presto Changeo, Ashe. Order out of chaos beings, Ashe.
Ashe.
Empress, Ashe. Destiny,
Ashe.
Ashe. Isis,
Ashe.
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 Cyrus, Ashe.
Ashe.
Um, Beyond gods, Ashe.
Ashe.
All the gods known and unknown, all the goddesses known and unknown, Ashe.
Ashe. Well, welcome to the fall of the de facto corporation. This is the first year that the de facto corporation interest on their national debt exceeded over $1 trillion.
Wow.
Yep.
And guess
Mm-hmm.
what? Guess what?
What?
Who that's gonna fall on? That's gonna fall on the American people.
Yep. Yep. All y'all asses.
And y'all basically are slaves to that debt.
Yeah. Actually, you serve the crown because that's who the debt is owed to.
Well, not directly, but through the international bank conglomerates and the IMF, which is
Mm-hmm.
owned by subsidiary after subsidiary of the, and it eventually directs to the crown. And you got, because this we was talking about this the other day, how somebody was mentioning how those corporations that benefited off of slavery in those days,
Yeah.
they still exist, but they exist in a different name. Some of them do exist in the same name, but they
Mm.
not like as prevalent as the company that they own. See, we don't
Mm.
understand that corporations own a lot of corporations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big corporations own corporations,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and so this is how
Yeah.
they kind of disguise and uh, try to avoid liability a lot of times.
Well, shit. This country, I mean, countries are pretty much a corporation ran by a CEO.
No doubt, no doubt. But it's a political corporation in the sense of it's supposed to have certain legitimacies to it, meaning it's supposed to be a de jure government. Most of these governments are de facto, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
They're
What's
de
the what's
facto.
what de jure means?
De jure means by law, by rule of law,
Hmm.
right? And de facto means by in fact, but not necessarily legit,
Yeah.
right?
Appears real, but really isn't.
Right, because it's based in colorable law, right? It's not
Hmm.
based in understanding the principles of law, and this is how they're able to get away with it because the mass majority of the public are not aware of principles of law, right?
Yeah.
Because all we're looking at are institutions that are basically components of the legal system. They're components, but the DNA of a legal system is the principles of law.
Hmm. So by understanding that, we understand the root, and by understanding the root, they can't get over on us.
Right, right. That's exactly how they've been getting over on the general public because they've dumbed us down to the point where we're not interested in things of that nature. We just want to be we want to be sensationalized constantly.
They've
Perpetually.
guided our interests into avenues that they see fit that they know that would keep us occupied
Right, keep us
into
on a vibrating on a low vibration below the root chakra or at the root
yeah,
chakra.
indefinitely.
Yeah,
They can
yeah,
keep
yeah.
this up forever, forever, if it was allowed to, if it was left up to them, but it's not.
Right. You know how we know that people are operating on their low chakra, low chakra energy is because they're the epidemic of STDs nowadays, right?
Hmm.
And it's right in the middle of what they call the hookup culture.
Oh yeah.
Everybody fucking, bro, but everybody fucking, and all
Hmm.
these diseases is like a rampant disease, STDs out here.
Oh yeah.
You know, rampant.
Rampant.
It's
Oh
rampant.
shit.
But ain't nobody really being cautious about it. That's how you know.
Mm. Yeah. Well, it's fucked up when sex is poison.
But guess what? They're see well, this is how low they gotten, man.
Hmm.
They're trying to justify it now by saying because there's the epidemics of herpes right now,
Hmm.
right? But
Hmm.
they're trying to normalize it, saying they're trying to say like 3 out of 4 people got herpes.
Three
meaning
out
3 out of 4.
Damn.
So you count 4 people, 3 of them
Mm-hmm.
got herpes,
Damn.
right? So they trying to normalize it as if it's something that we should just accept, and you know what
You
I'm
might,
saying?
well, yeah, at this point, yeah, I mean, it's saturated throughout the entire, damn near the entire population, unless your ass is celibate. Even if you're celibate, you, I mean, herpes, you can just end up catching it from somebody's herpes juice left somewhere.
Damn, this nigga said herpes juice. God, you crazy. You said that's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild out there. Yeah, yeah. Damn, I think shit. The best. I think maybe you should just go after lesbians or something.
Basically, I mean, I don't think they because you know when most lesbians bisexual anyway, so
Yeah,
they
so they
mostly
get
bisexual. They just
they.
lesbianism is just the freak off that bit the Diddy freak off potential,
Yeah.
right?
Uh huh. Shit. Everybody's been having Diddy parties.
Man, listen, man. Before it became a controversy, everybody
Hmm.
was at them parties and stopping lying saying you wasn't.
Well, shit. You remember Magic Johnson when he got AIDS? How did he get it? If assuming he did get it, but they were at them Laker parties. They were fucking everybody at them Laker parties.
And that's the culture of Hollywood. That's the culture of the entertainment industry. Period.
The Western civilization.
Yeah,
We're open.
you really break it down. It is Western civilization. Yeah.
Oh shit. Maybe it's just planet Earth. Period. I mean, human nature is just the way it is here. People fuck. No matter
Yeah, I
what
mean, I'm
land.
not saying I wouldn't. I would say that sex is normal and healthy, but
Mm-hmm.
they're going beyond. They're going into perversions and fetishes, and that's where they draw that. That's where you go all over the line and shit. It's like you go over the
Yeah.
line. Sex is natural between a man and a woman, but
Yeah.
then when you start doing this extra stuff, then that's when you damnation.
And
That's
then making it, and then normalizing
see,
it. And
but they don't realize the reason why they doing those rituals. They're doing sex rituals to invoke certain energies.
yeah, yeah, energies to keep this matrix going.
Right, right.
Yeah, and now the average Joe Smo will participate in it willingly because they want to see this continue on, even though they're suffering in it. The motherfucker, how in the fuck you want to keep this thing going? Your ass is responsible for over 300 and something $1,000 of that $35 trillion deficit. That just keeps going up and up and up.
Well, there's just no excuse for that irresponsibility, man. There's no excuse for this.
Most people not even they're not even aware of this. They just social media addict. What look
Right.
good, what feels good, what tastes good. That's it.
And they don't realize that's what's bringing the end of this world is the gluttony, the y'all breaking all of the rules that was suggested in the Bible. Like y'all violating all of the rules and shit.
It
And
was
when I look at them, I don't look at it as arbitrary rules for some higher. I look at it as it's adhering to certain principles of nature, certain
yeah
understanding of laws of nature, bro. Like
to keep balance, to keep shit in balance.
right, right, right,
If you want to have a civilization that's in balance and that's not bipolar or deranged, then yeah, certain laws of nature you must follow. But if you have a civilization that's fucking completely inverted like this one, then you're gonna have these freak storms, earthquakes, volcanoes, animal attacks, all kind of crazy shit going on the planet, and because that's just the that's do the second uh, what's the second law of the universe?
Uh,
As above, so below.
yeah,
As
the
above,
above so below.
they get, yeah, what they call that?
Correspondence.
Yeah, the law of correspondence. So nature and the universe is going to correspond to us. What's going on?
Inside of
What's
us.
being
Yeah.
yeah. So if we're psychologically deranged on the inside, what do you think the nature outside of us is going to be?
Right.
So
I mean,
psychologically deranged.
most people don't want that responsibility of having that much influence over the whole universe, because we do.
Well,
We don't
yeah,
want
well
that
that
responsibility. That's why we would rather just do what we do and not have any consequences or whatever. And that's just not how the universe works.
hmm
Reciprocity is one of the oldest principles of the universe. Whatever you
yeah.
put in, you get out.
hmm
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
well, welcome aboard, Rashamir Jones. Thanks for tuning in.
So
Yeah,
it's like we have to be mindful of what, like, most people want to just be impulsive. They just want to be automatons. This is where that whole automaton energy comes from. It's like people literally want to be automatons. They don't want to be critical thinkers. They don't want
because they don't know how to be because we don't live
that's not the
in
culture.
a Mhm. Yeah, that's not the culture. That's not what's being cultivated here. I mean, what's being cultivated here is that. So that way, the higher ups, the people in power, them and their families can prosper, while the slaves and the lowers, the peasants, just just muddle around in the mud and dirt and shit. I mean, they got it fixed so that way we stay dumb, and that we don't rise up, because they don't want us knowing what they know. They don't want us to rise up and take them out of power. So in order for them to stay in power, they got to keep us dumb. It's the it's the story of it's the Moses story, the Exodus story. I mean, this is Egypt over here, or this kingdom, and the Pharaoh in charge. They want to stay in power, and so they're killing off the firstborn. They're killing them up by turning them gay, or sending them to war and die.
Having these sisters fall into the feminist trap and start aborting. You know, there was more babies aborted last year than it was gun violence.
Really?
Gun shootings or gun killings.
Mm. Well, I'm sure they saving all that fetal tissue.
Well, of course they are, man. And imagine what they're doing with it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I can
Imagine
imagine.
that everything with the Western world as it pertains to science is
Hmm.
perversion. Is weird science. Is perverted as science that they're, like, for example, the whole medical industry, right?
Hmm.
They will never tell you that the body heals itself. All it needs is the conditions of a healthy condition, like the air has to be right. We have to go back to nature. If we keep nature clean, we will be clean because it's one and the same.
Yeah.
Man,
Well,
it's just that
yeah.
simple. It's a holistic approach, and opposed to this synthesized nature and then sell it back to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the Western world. Well, that's what's ruling the planet right now. That's the mentality that's ruling the planet, and that's ruling the civilization. That's grooming civilization. And now it reached a dead end. Now it's ready to devour the civilization it that it grew.
Well, I don't give
It's-
credit to the idea. because Western civilization is nothing but an idea. I give credit to those who have applied the idea to their life, and now it become part of their life. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we're all responsible, and we can't take away. That's a lot of times we always want to point the blame at the government, the elite. We allowing this shit to happen. That's all I want to focus on.
Okay, we're allowing it to happen, and the reason why we're allowing it to happen is because we're ignorant of a lot of things, and we don't want to admit that.
Well, that's the problem too. Why are we so ignorant? I mean, like for example, our people, we expect somebody else to solve our issues.
Someone else to do all the
We don't
research,
have
all
we don't have no concern. We really have little to no concern of solving our own issues. I've done it before, mind you. I was a revolutionary in the motherfucking trenches with this shit, and
hmm
found out that once you ready to fight for the people not ready to fight back, man. They not ready. It's only a small number of people gonna really fight for the people, and they gonna get wiped out, and then we're gonna end up right back where we at.
Yeah.
So it's really no use of that. It's gonna have to be a critical mass to where people realize themselves. That's what I was explaining to the brother the other day. It's like I can't make our people realize that we need a government. I
Mm-mm.
can't realize that. I have to
Yeah.
just facilitate the knowledge, and eventually they'll have an aha moment. Like, aha, okay, yeah, maybe it will be, since what we've been doing ain't working. Maybe we should take our interest in our own hands now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's all we're suggesting with the Moorish
Yeah.
science, the Moorish jurisprudence, with the Moorish government, with the restoration of Moorish government, with the revision of Moorish sovereignty, with the
hmm
post-millennium
hmm
process. This is all we're suggesting, is that we take charge of our own affairs, and we attach ourselves back to our original supreme political identity, which
Yeah.
are which is Moroccans.
Yeah.
That is
And we're in Morocco. And
as a
we're
matter
in
of fact,
Morocco.
listen. That is one of the most supreme political identities you can ever have,
Mm.
because it was a
Damn.
hegemony. It was a hegemony. You
Yeah.
got to understand that this was a global empire, bro.
Well, let me share something. I've been doing a little homework today. Can I share this?
Go ahead, brother.
Okay. This is from the Moroccan Pulse, Developing Jurisdictional Competency, Session 7, Analyzing the Moorish Negative Social, Political, Cultural, Economic Conditions, misrepresented as racism, prejudice, hatred, and discrimination in the framework of international law of nations. Okay, a book to read, Moors and Masonry, Part 1, 1662 Treaty Excerpts, 1665 Treaty to show Moorish power, showing pre-existing Moorish sovereignty, setting the stage to present the recovery of lost Moorish sovereignty, the revision of sovereignty to re-enter the international community as an old and
Pre-existing.
original state. Yeah, pre-existing state. We have to show evidence of pre-existing sovereignty, setting the groundwork to show that the documentary evidence of a pre-existing Moorish sovereignty using international law terminology for recovery of lost sovereignty, reversion to sovereignty. Conquest, subjugation, not constitutional violation. That's not analyzing our negative economic, social, political conditions, which are misrepresented as racism, prejudice, discrimination, and hatred. To analyzing this, wait, analyzing this in that context of the United States law, United States Constitution is not appropriate. In other words,
read that part. Read that part again. Go back. Read that part about
okay,
the disguised as racism. Disguised as racism. Read that part again. That's key.
okay. Well, that's in the beginning. Analyzing the Moorish negative social, political, cultural, economic conditions misrepresented as racism, prejudice, hatred, and discrimination in the framework of international law of nations. So we're under conquest, subjugation, not constitutional violation.
Right. Thank you. That's the mindset we should have. Not, oh, we need civil rights.
Yeah.
Oh, we are revision of sovereignty, revision of our Moorish sovereignty. That's the man. This is the mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Foreign Moorish government. This is the mentality.
Yes.
Right? But you didn't read that part again where it says mistaking it as racism, this and that. Read
Yeah.
that part
Okay.
again.
Okay. All right. That's not analyzing our negative economic social conditions misrepresented as racism, prejudice, discrimination, and hatred. To analyzing this in the context of United States laws, United States Constitution is not appropriate for a people who belongs to the Moroccan Empire by national origin, genealogy, and descent, whose empire was collapsed, disintegrated, dismembered due to Spanish, French, English, Portuguese, Swedish, and Netherlands, Dutch Republic conquest and colonization of our land.
Now, let me address some indigenous people who try to say, "Oh, the Moors invaded over here." Not true. Most these indigenous people identify as Moors too. So stop it.
Yeah.
Stop the
Mm-hmm.
bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
They identify as Moors, so they under the
Now,
protection of Morocco too.
yeah,
Fuck out of here.
but you do have them $5 people that came from Europe.
I mean, they don't even got a problem with them though, but they always try to harp over little issues that we supposedly have with each other though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of that shit too. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, y'all got petty ass differences. Y'all just need to have something because it's more popular amongst hate. Let me tell you something, brother. On the
Yeah.
line,
Mm-hmm.
online,
Mm-hmm.
social media,
Mm-hmm.
you will get more views if you hate on brothers and other brothers and sisters than if you talk about how we're talking about our history and nuances and try to address conflicts that we had in the future in its proper context, right?
Oh, oh.
We will have more views. Like this is what Tariq Nasheed does. Tariq
Mm-hmm.
Nasheed, he get a big audience because the number one thing that you can get an audience with among so-called black people is to hate
Yeah.
on another black person,
Oh.
so-called white person.
Mm-hmm.
You get an audience from that because we all hate ourselves.
Yeah, that we were taught by the best.
Right.
We were
We
taught
hate
by the best.
ourselves. We hate ourselves so much that gets more views than us uplifting each other and us putting things in proper perspectives. Because most times when we doing that, you didn't really research that. You just saying something that came to you impulsively because you hate yourself.
Your emotions, yeah. And
You
if
didn't
you
do no
sit down,
research on that.
yeah, they need to do research before they start yapping.
But we emotional as that's another thing. We too
Mm-hmm.
emotional as a people. We too fucking emotional. Damn,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
too fucking emotional. And I know
We,
we are a spiritual, soulful, emotional people, but we got to check that shit now.
yeah, we gotta put that shit in balance. We gotta see we either too far to the left or too far to the right.
Right,
Unbalanced. We gotta go the point in the middle, balancing the left and the right.
right.
Yeah. Okay, let me
So
continue.
Go
So
ahead. Go ahead.
the United States courts do not have, or the United States Supreme Court does not have the authority to remove Spanish land grants, French land
Oh my
grants,
God! Please,
French
woo! That's a bomb
letters
drop.
that
That's a
have.
bomb drop. Y'all recognize what he's reading?
Yeah, I
That
am.
was a
That's
bomb
why I'm
drop.
fucking reading it.
Because what the implications of what he's saying is, why are y'all looking at the United States of America? They're inferior over here.
Yes, you're looking in
The
the wrong
United
way.
States of America is inferior over here.
Yes, they're just
According to
children.
international law, the United States is inferior. Why
Yeah,
y'all keep looking at them?
because they think because they're indoctrinated. The red, white, and blue. They hypnotized by the flag of the United States of America and for the non-republic for which it stands. Okay, the United States courts do not have, or the United States Supreme Court does not have the authority to remove Spanish land grants, French land grants, French letters that patent English land grants, English letters that patent to remove charters established, uh, that was established, and the establishment of the Society of the Propagated Faith that established Harvard, Yale, and Brown. These universities was established by the British Crown by charter granted by the British Crown. The United States Supreme Court does not have the authority to remove Spanish land grants, lands granted by the occupying sovereign Spanish sovereign. The United States Supreme Court does not have the authority to remove or repeal the 1783 definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States, or the extinguishment of Pennsylvania. They don't have the ability to extinguish the William Penn Charter and give the land back to the Moors. No United States president has the authority to sit down with the Moors to negotiate the return of the land to the Moors. We have occupying sovereigns here. So Article 1 of the definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States. Okay, his pontiff majesty King George III is the grantor, the superior authority. He relinquished to New York State. He's allowing New York State to operate under the New York Duke of York Charter and the 1689 Charter, the 1664.
Let me say something right quick. Before you go
Yeah.
further.
Mm-hmm.
This is refuting what you're reading right now is history and jurisprudence.
Yeah.
Right? You can't deny what he's reading right now.
No.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is refuting the idea that the Europeans came over here in a way that was they came over here in a strategic military way, but now you got to reevaluate how they were doing things, adhering to international law at the same time. At the same time, they had their sinister agenda over here, but they were still adhering to international law at the same time. So
Yeah.
look, this is a normal idea that is pushed. They broke the treaties and cannon and gunfire. That's not what happened. No, they haven't broke the treaties at all. They have not broken the treaties at all. What happens is we fell asleep and don't recognize that they're under treaties. We say stuff like what you just said. They broke the treaty, and no. I'm tired of people doing this, right? I'm tired of people saying blatant statements and making blatant statements, but don't. Where's your reference? Where's you getting that from?
Yeah.
Where did you get that from? You're just saying stuff that sounds good for your argument. Whenever you got an argument from now on, this is what I want to teach y'all. Quote your source, please. Quote your source. Don't just say some random stuff and then don't quote your damn source.
Unless you
a lot of times, people quote sources, but they have no understanding of the subject matter, so they took it out of context.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. Okay. Article 1 of the definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States. His Pontiff Majesty King George III is the grantor, the superior authority. He relinquished to New York State. He's allowing New York State to operate under the New York Duke of York Charter, 1664, and the 1689 Charter, allowing each of the 13 states listed, relinquishing thereby granting authority for each of the 13 states to operate under the respective English colony charters. You have a occupying, conquering sovereign authority of Great Britain granting to their children, the United States, the 13 states.
Okay, so let's examine. Because go ahead, you finished?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's examine that history, right? Because people are taking that even just said out of context and add their own misconceptions, false premises, and all that stuff without understanding. You got to have a full grasp of history to understand. That's a history lesson. Plus, it's a jurisprudence lessons that he just gave you.
Yeah.
History and jurisprudence lesson. Now you got to go to other sources. This right here, other sources.
Moors and Masonry.
More detail. This right here, this book, this whole book chronicles the seafaring power of Morocco. And that seafaring power was so vast that the European nations had to pay tribute to even travel the seas. They had to pay tribute, man. They couldn't just go anywhere. Later on, there were negotiations to where they were able to. This is what I'm. Those early on negotiation and agreements that the European nations made with Morocco made it possible for them to come over here and colonize America, what we call in America now. Because without that seafaring power granting them authority to even go across the sea,
this shit might get sunk.
This is your ancestors had this power, okay? So you got to stop looking at yourself as some inferior. Look at the history. The history says this is a vast seafaring power. Your ancestors.
Which meant they had to do a really good number on us to get us, for us to be where we are. They had to come up with a really good scheme following the international law to pull this shit off.
Well, you got to give it to them. You got to understand the difference between wartime law and peacetime law, right? This is international law. Go study what I'm saying. Everything I say, you can go research the shit. Right?
Yeah. Believe me, I am.
They're subjecting us under the wartime laws, right? Basically, they're because and guess what? Think about this. Think about what I'm saying, right? Is it because, listen, because most people don't think this critically of what I'm about to say. Is it because they were just so powerful that they came over here and just gangstered us? Huh? No. What
No.
happened was there's nuances to this history. We have to realize that most of the British, a lot of the British, that was a multicultural society, and there were Moors in Britain, in the British colony. I mean, in the British royalty and the British structure.
Yeah.
France,
Even
Dutch, all of them, they was more. They were more likely Moors too.
yeah, there was Moorish conquistadors.
Right. For example, we already knew that Columbus possibly was a Moor, right?
Yeah, there's a good
And
chance he
we
was
come to
probably.
find out now, they found out, yes, he was a Moor from Cuba. That's why he named Cuba Cuba, because he was from
Mm-hmm.
Cuba in Spain, or
Mm.
not in Spain, in the Mediterranean, somewhere in the Mediterranean, right? So
Okay.
he was a Moor, but he was a converted Moor. Remember, around the conquering of the Moors, the conquistador, the conquering of the Moors, right? They gave the
Mm-hmm.
Moors, they gave the Moors a ultimatum. You either convert to Catholicism and become what they call a Morisco, a small Moor, a little Moor,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Mm-hmm.
you leave Spain, right? That was the choice that happened when
Mm-hmm.
once we lost power in Spain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mind
Yeah.
you, we didn't conquer Spain, because that was the narrative that the European pushes, that we went in and conquered. No, what happened was we had influence politically in Spain already. There were people calling us into Spain because
Mm-hmm.
they were being oppressed by the Spanish government, and they had us come in to put a stop to the oppression that was going on,
So
especially for
it's sort of
the
like
more.
what's happening, sort of like what happened in Ukraine.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
some there were the Moorish Jews in Spain that were being persecuted by the Spanish government, and the Moors came
Okay.
in to help them.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't come in to conquer, right? In the sense that they
Yeah.
were. But what happened was, you got to understand, before it was called Spain, the Moors were already established in that area before it was
Mm-hmm.
even called Spain. I
Or
forgot the
Portugal.
name of the. I forgot the name of the dynasty, or the Moorish Khalifa that was ruling in that area. But you got to realize, this is a lot of history that they leaving out. I'm
Yeah.
giving you another perspective, because they will. Oh, the Moors conquered Spain, and that's it. They'll leave it that like that. They won't give you the
Yeah.
nuances. They won't tell you that that area was being ruled by Morocco, or Moorish
Mm-hmm.
power. It was being ruled by Moorish power before it became Spain.
Mm.
You can even say that about Europe,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
They were being ruled by darker skinned people before it became Europe.
And is all of that in that book, Morris and Masonry?
That Northern Masonry kind of just focuses on Moorish seafaring power around the 15th, 16th,
Okay.
because it wants to. The whole point of the book, I mean, I wouldn't say the whole point of the book is, but the big, when I read what I've read so far, I'm seeing he reiterating Moorish seafaring power, the hegemony of Moorish of the Morocco, the hegemony of Morocco, right? And
Mm-hmm.
how every the all those European nations had to bow down and kiss the ring in order for them to be a seafaring nation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He hops over that, and it's the 15th, and what he's saying is, this is around the same time they said we were being the transatlantic slave trade was going on.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives you a different point of view. How could you reconcile these two things? We was a seafaring power, and we were being
Mm-hmm.
brung on boats. How could you reconcile that? You would have to go even deeper into the research to even get its nuances to this stuff, man.
Yeah.
There's nuances.
Yeah. And I bet you there's a whole lot of nuances to the Revolutionary War.
Listen,
that could have
man,
been a setup.
the Revolutionary War was their attempts to detach themselves from their mother and become something that they knew afterward they realized, nah, we can't do nothing over here without our mother, our political mother, which is Britain. United States of
Mm-hmm.
America's political mother is Britain, the crown.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
they thought they didn't need their mama no more. That's what it was. I don't need my mama no more.
Yeah. They still celebrate that. They still think that
They still trying to
that
push the narrative that they won the Revolutionary War, and they don't tell people about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Y'all won it. If y'all won it, why did y'all concede to the record? Ratify the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, meaning y'all under the authority of Britain still.
Yep. Yeah.
The Treaty of
That
Paris.
treaty.
The Treaty of Paris, literally, that's my evidence. Go read it. The first article, Article 1. It said it recognizes these states, and it didn't say what we call the United States of America. That we recognize these states as free and sovereign. That was the British. That was the British Crown saying that, making that quote.
Yeah. King George.
Right. So
The third.
what are y'all talking about? Y'all are sovereign over here. No, you're not. No, y'all not. Stop it. See that
No,
history, that misconception of history has gotten them a lot, because they have to give you this glorified history that American history and all this. Listen, man, it ain't what it all cracked up to be, man. It ain't. Stop it. You know
It's
what I'm saying?
one of the greatest lies ever told.
It's a good story. Y'all heard it. I hear you. It's a great story, but at the end of the day, you left out a lot of bull. You left out a lot of shit. You left out
They
a lot
left
of shit.
out. They left out like 99% of the shit.
Right. That's
And
how they make good story. Look at the whole Tupac movie. They left out 99% of his actual life. They went from him being doing the death row to he went to jail. I'm like, no, man. This is like they didn't do none of the parts of him being a son of a panther and all that shit. The history of that and Oakland and the history of the revolutionary spirit of Oakland and all that. Man, it's a lot of history, man. Y'all left that out.
Yeah.
How he got shot by the police and won his lawsuit and all that shit. Y'all left all that out. I think they did a scene where he got shot by the police. But it's all type of shit they left out of the damn, because they want to do like a quick commercialized, you know what I'm saying, convenient fast food ass movies, and that's all these movies are today. Is they fast food ass movies, man.
yeah, see who can make 50 million the first week.
Right. And that's what the music
Yeah.
has become too. It's just full of these cliches, and they trying to maximize. They talked about that in recently, how Lupe Fiasco, when he did the Push Kick song, and it was gaining momentum, but his record label Atlanta wanted to maximize the profit of the song, so they went as far as slowing down the momentum, because it was right around the time it was becoming a national hit. Right? They wanted to slow the momentum down on it because they wanted to own every aspect of the song. This is how greedy they're. This is how they think. They will even sabotage themselves for a minute to get the maximum profit, and that's the only driving source. I mean, that's the only driving. It ain't about
Motivation.
talent. It ain't about cultivating talent. It ain't about giving people an actual chance who deserve it. You know what I'm saying?
Inspiration or nothing like
Oh
nothing
man,
inspiring.
it's all about exploitation, man.
Yeah, but
It's all
yeah,
about exploitation.
it's the,
It tainted the whole industry. It tainted artistry now. Like you'll get a real talented artist that has to compromise his artistry to become
mm-hmm.
some type of pop appeal.
Yeah, pop star, and to become a pop star, that motherfucker he gonna have to get tattoos painted all over his body, get a fucking diamond sewn into his head or something.
Look at all
Got
the pop stars. They're dysfunctional as fuck, man. They got to go through all these little sick ass rituals, and they
mm-hmm.
all right now like this is what the whole P Diddy thing is really about. It's like you can only go to a certain level before you explode. What's in the dark always come to the light. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like everything is being exposed to being like we were talking about that shit the other day. Like you said, so damn, it appears that Hollywood is just a front for a pedophilia ring.
Yeah, yeah.
All of Hollywood is just a front for a pedophilia ring. Like, wow. I mean, when you
Shit,
break it
Washington.
down about the entertainment industry now has become it's crazy.
Mm. The kids are shit. The kid, man, you don't want to have no kids nowadays. Your kids,
Yeah,
shit, you look up your
I
kids.
wouldn't advise. I mean, yeah. I mean, we got to have kids because in order for us to, but at this time, it's gonna be rough.
It's
You know what I'm saying?
dangerous. It's dangerous. I mean, to be a parent nowadays, oh my God, how can you sleep at night? I mean, I'll probably be way worse than my mother.
I mean, I'm a parent, and I'm like, at the end of the day, all you can do is what you're supposed to do as a parent. Meaning, you gotta be in your children's ear is either as much as everybody else
Mm-hmm.
or more than everybody else.
More, yeah. You,
They gotta
you
have that rational person in their head sometimes because even the adults around them are just degenerates.
yeah, degenerates. In other words, if you're a parent, you're just gonna have to accept the fact that if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, your kids ain't gonna like you.
Exactly. They're not supposed to like you. What the fuck? Hell
They
no. You
not gonna
supposed to be
like.
what the hell? That's not what parenting is. The
Mm-mm.
hell?
Nope.
But this is the
Not supposed
thing,
to be.
especially in the so-called black, because we have to realize, so-called black people have to realize that we have been compromised, we have been
Yeah.
infiltrated, we are we
Mm,
are we are a fallen nation, and we are perpetuating our continuous fall
yeah.
and
Fallen empire.
a fallen empire. Yes, and
Yeah. This,
the thing about it is I'm not blaming the sisters because it was all a setup. They made
yeah.
sure that well, I kind of do blame the sisters because
They should get
the
it by now.
deadbeat dad. Look, this is what I'm saying. Like the whole deadbeat dad narrative where they talked about black fathers are not participating in the household, and this is why you got all of this. Where you got all this adolescence going on, this delinquent adolescence or whatever, because the father's not in the
Yeah.
household. Well, the true
Yeah.
information that's come out, because a lot of people, like I said, they just say stuff just to sensationalize because they know people ain't gonna do the background check and do the research. Well, I've been doing the research, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
recently, Oprah really revealed it, really set the stage for it. Do you know that so-called black men are the most involved in their children's lives?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that they just totally destroy the narrative that I grew up on, is that these deadbeat ass dads concept that had been perpetuated in my head was all a fucking psych op, man. It's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
That was a freaking lie. So-called black men are the most involved out of all of them. Hispanic, so-called white, we're
Yeah.
the most involved in our children's
And
lives.
then the black woman will do everything to take the kid out the black man's life.
Well, let's go there. So her mind has been hijacked by the supposed freedom that the feminists and the feminist movement and the what they call that stuff with the democratic the woke. It's called woke now, but it was called something
Oh,
at
yeah.
one time. The whole woke movement, right? So
Yeah.
called. This is why they're trying to see if, because they don't have a lot of women on their side. I'm gonna just be real. The whole feminist movement, ain't a lot of women fucking with them,
Mm-hmm.
but they
You
do
know.
have a big portion of women that they can have some influence in some sense. But what happens is a lot of our sisters have fell
Yeah.
under the bullshit of feminism, right?
Yeah.
And they have, because let's just examine what we call feminism is. Feminism is supposed to be the fight for women's rights, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually the fight for women to act like men without, because there are different consequences for women to be out there promiscuous and being just being for the streets. It's consequences more for her than a man. Feminism is about sexual freedom, and most of what they're referring to as sexual freedom is for them to be able to do what men are able to do as it pertains to being able to have multiple sexual partners and not being shamed for it as a woman. That's the biggest double standard that they fighting against. As a
Well, too bad
feminist,
they can't.
they not really see. They don't spend. You don't see a lot of feminists fighting for women's rights in the sense of her right to continue to be a voter and her right to continue to. No, the biggest fight in feminism is their right to sexual freedom.
Well, shit, they better figure out a way to to be able to knock men up instead of men knocking them up.
Well,
Because sexual
exactly.
freedom
You got
is
to go against nature again. Here we go. Whenever you're trying to go
but
against
then
nature,
but they don't have to worry about that. That's why the abortion clinics are there.
this is another issue. Listen, most of the sisters, that's the only political motivation they have to to vote for Hillary in the Democratic Party, man.
You
Is
mean
that they're going to
not Hillary?
secure their rights. They're going to secure their right to kill their babies. And look how they frame it. We have the rights to our bodies. Well, you don't have the right to that fetus. You don't have the right to that fetus body, though. That fetus is not a part of your body anymore. That fetus is its own individual body now, and it's not just your body. It's the genetic material of the man and you. So that argument is not legally
Mm-hmm.
even sound. Like, let's be real. You trying to say, oh, I said this is a whole argument. Their whole argument politically, most women in the political, I've never heard a woman say anything about a policy other than the right to abort their damn babies, man. I've never heard it. Mistake me, I'm wrong. Show me a video. Show me a video of a woman talking about any other issue, politics, in politics or policy besides being able to kill their babies. Show me one. No, show me one.
They
I'm
say I
saying
want
I'm
to be
very.
able to fuck like a
Please share a video. Send it to my YouTube. Send it to my inbox to me in my YouTube. I mean my Facebook or my YouTube, whatever. I'm really interested in hearing a woman talk about anything other than her reproductive rights.
mm-hmm.
Fuck the
Other than that,
bullshit.
they ain't
It's real.
saying nothing.
And why is that an issue
Yeah.
for women? Because they want to be out here and be on the dick carousel. A lot of them want to be on the dick carousel.
This is how they like monkeys. They swinging from dick.
I'm not mad at them. Listen, I'm not mad at them. Look, listen. I'm not mad at them. Listen, I'm not mad at a promiscuous woman. Be promiscuous all you want. Don't act like I'm trying to shame you. But I'm definitely gonna tell you the consequences of that shit because you trying to block it out your mind so you can keep doing it.
Yeah, there's venereal diseases.
That's
baby.
You went to the extreme.
Emotional trauma.
I was just talking about the fact that 80% of babies being born in the so-called black community now are being born out of wedlock. Are being born not even out of. I won't even add wedlock. I would just add that the man don't want to have a baby.
They don't want to be with.
And that's another reproductive
the
right that they have. They have the right to terminate the baby or keep the baby. The man has no right in that respect. We could have just been fucking that night.
Yeah.
There was no sense of long term. We were just fucking that night. We were just fucking that night.
Just fucking.
But guess what? We were just fucking that night. But she has the right to give you a responsibility for 18 years.
Yeah.
And I'm not advocating I'm just speaking truth. I'm not advocating for killing babies. I'm not advocating for women not having the right to do that. I'm not advocating for either or.
You just tell them what it really is.
It's the facts of the matter. This is what y'all ignoring because y'all trying to fight for either or. No. Let's look at the facts. Let's look at what happened. Let's look at the consequences. Let's look at what's happening as a result.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's all I can say tonight. I love it. This is me. I'll be so frustrated during the read. I can't even speak my mind and shit. I love Soul Cycle Alchemy because I can speak my goddamn mind and vent all this bullshit I want to say to these idiots.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, brother. Say your last word.
Well, last words. Like I said, the de facto corporation just hit the debt. The debt just hit $1 trillion. Oh shit, man! Look out. But other than that, there's a lot of energy, a lot of cosmic energy hitting the Earth now, and they're seeing a lot of crazy things to happen.
Right.
Man, the energy that's popping off the sun right now ain't no joke. Things about to change. These solar flares is gonna really fuck some shit up. It's gonna really change some shit. There's shit. We're going through this proton belt. I sent you a video today talking about right now the Earth is entering into this proton belt, and they're expecting that at some point.
Right.
Have 3 days.
I'm aware of that.
We're gonna have 3 days of darkness. So I'm wondering if it's going to just be 3 days of darkness on one side of the planet and 3 days of light on the other side, or is it going to be 3 days of darkness on both sides? Because if it's 3 days of darkness on one side and 3 days of light on the other side, I hope I'm on the side that's dark.
For real. Well, this is a normal, natural phenomenon, and our ancestors have experienced these phenomena, and I've been told, and I've been made privy of the fact that our indigenous science, we were all ready for these things, and we knew where to be at the right time because we was in sync with nature. Now we out of sync, And this is
Yeah.
why a lot of people are going to be destroyed because you're out of sync with your ancestral energies and your the vibration of the planet. Because this is how you get a lot of. You notice that they're saying that there's a lot. There was a period of time in like 2 years ago where there was like a lot of mass migration of animals.
Mm-hmm.
Animals just start disappearing out of certain areas and shit.
Or dying off.
Right, right, right.
Fishes
Are they see?
on the shore.
See, a lot of times, it's like people looked at uh, what was the name of that cult where all of them killed themselves so they can go on the mothership?
Jim Jones. Oh, yeah. That quote. I can't. Heaven's Gate.
Heaven Gate, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing about dying,
Mm-hmm.
we have a misconception of what that actually is. Sometimes you can just shed the body. Your light body
Yeah.
can shed the body and move on and transcend, right?
Yeah. Like
And
yeah.
a lot of times we look at it in a negative aspect because, like I said, the Europeans are still in the dark, even though we civilized them to an extent. They only had 33 and 33. Their degree below freezing in their knowledge, so they
Mm-hmm.
don't have access to all the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
in our genetic. That's in our genetic memory, though, right? This is why I'm able to expound
Mm-hmm.
upon it now. Like, we have knowledge on how to be in tune with nature to an extent to where we won't be affected, or we'll change the scope of it in our mind and make it a transition of light body transition to another transmission. This is where they're getting the whole concept now of transferring your consciousness to another host and all this stuff. That's ancient
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. That's ancient knowledge, man. We've been doing this.
Yeah.
We've
Well,
been
see,
doing
now
it.
they're talking.
We've been
They're
doing. We
talking.
was doing it organically. They talking about doing it synthetically and doing it on some inorganic matter type way.
Yeah. Yeah, and invertedly, but now they're talking about how that there's all these multiple alternate universes out there right now, and that there could be several different Earths. So what that's really saying is that all reality, everything that is possible, good or bad, is already happening in those multiple universes.
Yes, yes,
It's
yes.
just that
And these are like
we have to
these are
figure out
tone
how
these,
to.
these are these are tonalities of vibrations, like, and you got to view it like tonality of vibrations, right? When you pressing the
Mm-hmm,
strings of a if you pressing the strings of a guitar, right? The high notes are up
mm-hmm,
here, the low notes are down there, right? So when you
mm-hmm,
are experiencing your humanity, right, it has to be
mm-hmm,
based in that harmonically flow in your life. This is why I talk about cultivating energy, right? Because
mm-hmm.
shadow work is very important in this sense, because we have to in sync our mind, body, soul, in a sense where reconciling these things, because they're not reconcilable through the religious doctrines.
No,
Right? They
no,
shun one,
no.
and then act like, oh, this is part of you. You have to
Yeah,
reconcile these things. You have to pull them in a way. This is transcending your thought. Once you can be
yeah.
able to reconcile these things, you transcend, and you're not thinking the same way that you was. That transferring of your thinking changes your reality, because
Well,
all is mind. One of the first principles.
those 3 days of darkness, it's gonna be like looking at your cell phone when it's
It's a
off,
meditation.
when
It's
it's
a
just
meditation.
when
It's like a
it's
self-reflection, a self-realization
yeah,
that
yeah.
all of
It's a
humanity
black
is going to have to
mirror.
experience at once.
Yeah, we're going to be looking in a black mirror. And when you look in a black mirror, it's going to reflect back to you. So whatever going on the inside, when we go through these 3 days of darkness, it's going to be reflected on the outside.
What happens? Listen, this is how you have to you have to really start viewing your reality. This is how you view your reality. There there could be the most extreme to the left and the most
Mm-hmm.
extreme to the right. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter. The stream is what you riding.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
stream,
That's
just
why I
ride
say.
the stream. How do you ride the stream? Self-awareness
Mm,
on multiple levels. Self-awareness on the physical level, the spiritual level, the emotional levels.
mm-hmm.
Self-awareness, right,
Mental.
is how you don't
Yeah.
get caught in a stream. You don't get caught in a stream, and you just this is what emotional in development, psychological development, because these are two streams of consciousness that bleed into each other in this confusion. You have to be the medium for all these streams of consciousness, all these streams of awareness.
That's why I said become the point in the middle.
You have to be the medium for it. Yes. You can't
Yeah.
let, this is why I keep telling people, if you keep letting your body control you, you're going to end up in a stream that you don't want, a stream of energy, a low vibrational stream of energy that you don't want to be a part of. You
You're gonna.
have to master. This is why my line, and I'm gonna start working on this documentary because I gotta explain this to people, man. I see
Mm-hmm.
that it was meant for me to explain this to people. Your demons is your genius.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Demon,
are.
demon is just another word for gene. Gene is short for genius. It all leads to a it all leads to gene. It's in this. It's all in the. When you look at a genius, a genie, you're talking about genius. We're talking about spiritual
Mm-hmm.
awareness.
Yeah. Yeah. Just that religion fucked it all up.
Yes, yes, they did because
Spooked.
It's purposeful, and I can understand that. See, this is what people don't do. They just say the Illuminati doing this, right? Do
Yeah.
you understand the perspective? Why are they doing that? Look at the world through Illuminati's eyes for a minute,
Yeah.
right? Look at the world through these demiurges, uh, 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 what they call them, minions,
Eyeglasses.
minions,
Archons.
archons.
Minion.
Look at the world through their
Yeah.
eyes for a minute and see what is
Well.
their purpose in the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
What is the devil's
Well.
purpose? What is God's purpose in the grand scheme? When you attach it to the fact that these are anthropomorphized aspects of nature.
Yeah. Because what they call God, well, God is a limiting term, but what is considered as the unknowable God, the absolute all, everything that exists is within it. There's nothing
Exactly.
outside of it. Everything that exists, good, bad, ugly, beautiful, exists within the absolute all.
And
So,
everything that don't exist exists there.
yeah,
This is the
everything that
nexus.
was,
Everything. This is the
yeah,
nexus of the uncreated reality and created reality, and even beyond where there was just pure darkness.
yeah, but even what's pure darkness is still within the absolute all.
Of course, that
Okay,
pure
there's
darkness is
nothing
a part of the
outside
absolute
of
all
it.
too. You're right. No, you're
There's
right.
nothing outside of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, what is considered the entire galactic universe is nothing but a thought or an idea going on within the absolute all. An idea being played out.
Right. So you can see the Matrix kind of gave a good analogy of the tapestry of the whole cosmos and how it working through it's working through us. And
Mm-hmm.
because I thought of this a long time ago, the universe conscious of itself, right? No, first, because
Mm-hmm.
I created albums because I'm an artist. I rap, so I rap about this stuff.
Okay.
I got lyrical. You know what I'm saying? Heat rock for
Yeah.
you. So
Okay.
I did a whole album where I did it with my brothers, Infinite Sphere, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
called "My Mind is the Universe You Live In."
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah. Well,
That was the
yeah.
process. I like going back to that because that was the process of me evolving in my thoughts and
Yeah.
evaluating the nature of reality itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they coincide. When you develop in your thinking, the whole universe is changing at the same time. Or you're just becoming
Yeah.
aware of a part of reality you're just becoming aware of a part of reality that you was not aware of prior to that. So it's opened up to you
You
now.
just gained access. You just gained access to another realm that the average person don't have access to.
Right,
So
right, right. The universe
yeah.
conscious of it. The my mind. Okay. It evolved from my mind of the universe you live in. Right. That was an
Mm-hmm.
ego. That was ego. So until it evolved to, I superseded and transcended my ego and said the universe conscious of itself.
Is the universe conscious of itself?
Yes, through us.
Through us. Okay. Now, without us, is it conscious of itself?
Yes, it is. But
Through us.
these are layers of consciousness that the universe is using, even from the smallest insect to the exotic plants, and these are levels of consciousness that the universe is experiencing itself through itself.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because other than without that, the universe
Or
or the absolute,
you can call it the all experiencing itself
yeah,
through
the
itself.
absolute all. Yeah, the all is not able to experience itself outside of itself, but it figured out a way to do it though. Anyway,
Right,
called the universe.
right, right,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
It figured out a way to experience itself outside of itself, even though
But
there's no such thing as being outside of
this
it.
awareness this awareness is omnipotent, man.
Yeah.
It's omnipotent.
Yeah, so when you come up, you reconcile everything. Now there's no good, no bad, no evil. Everything is it's all connected. It's just only different degrees of the same thing.
Right. Ooh, that's when Bobby Hemmett said it, he hit it on the motherfucking knot, man. When he talked about
Hmm.
how that extreme energy is what you want to get into, man. You want to get into that
Hmm.
extreme energy, that powerful energy, that centering phoenix type energy, right? Because
Yeah.
when you get to those, these are levels of being you a scientist. You have to be a metaphysical scientist,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
go into to the alchemy and with that approach. I'm a scientist, so it's the
Hmm.
same scientific method, right?
It's
It's the
yeah,
same time,
scientist and an explorer
huh?
and an explorer
Right,
exploring.
right, 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 right.
Yeah.
I don't see an opposite of being religious,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because you can never move forward. You can never move forward in religion. You stuck.
Religion is too rigid. It's too rigid. It's not fluid. It's rigid. So
Yes.
yeah, and the system that's very rigid eventually cracks
Right.
and breaks.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That we gonna end it right there though, y'all, and we'll be back
Okay.
next week.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, we be in heated conversations. It's kind of hard to end them, but we got to end it
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, it's only supposed to be an hour show,
Mhm.
right? So we got
Yeah,
to
it was
hour.
almost an hour show.
Well, we had an hour and a half now.
Yeah. Well, then I guess it must have been good. Well,
We were
thank
riding
you
them
for
waves.
having
We
me.
were riding them ancestral waves, and the ancestors come through, man.
Yeah,
And that's what happens.
certainly.
We just ancestors be coming through, man, and kicking it. All right, we'll see y'all next week.
Yes.